What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, this upcoming week, you do have a couple data points that you need to pay attention to. Luckily enough, it's not coming until the later part of the week. So you do have Thursday, so you have initial jobless claims, GDP, and as well on Friday, PCE. So those are the ones to really pay attention to. A couple Fed speakers throughout the week, but luckily enough, majority of the week is going to be more technical driven. So in Lucid's case, that's kind of a positive thing and a negative thing. I'm going to talk about what I mean by that. But essentially, you do have the fear and greed index as well in the neutral category. So it's improved tenfold over this last 2 weeks. So meaning people's appetite for risk is on the table. So again, that's kind of a good thing. What did happen on Friday though, I'm sure you guys already know, is Powell. So he kind of gave some positive things, some negative things, but this is why going back over to GDP and initial jobless claims and also PCE, it is going to be very, very important because Powell did say a lot of good things, alluded to rate cuts, so I'm going to talk on that in a second, but at the same time, he did express some concern over the labor market. So it's one of those fine-tooth combs. He gave positives and negatives. In my opinion, the positives clearly outweighed the negatives. So that's something, again, to keep in mind. But based on right now, there is a 24% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut for the September 18th meeting, a 76% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. And that is going to be followed by a potential 50 basis point cut on the November 7th meeting. So that's kind of going into next week. So the market is most likely going to be factoring in 75 basis points worth of cuts over those two meetings. So I think in general, that is going to be good. Hopefully GDP and PCE will kind of mimic what the market wants to really validate this, like I just said. So that's something, again, going to really influence Lucid and the whole EV sector because that is very sensitive to interest rates. So a lot of that is going to come into play. Specific to Lucid, there isn't anything really planned, so no interviews, nothing along those lines. This whole week, in fact, which did go up roughly 33.28%, so I think just that deserves a round of applause, but at the same time, no news came out throughout the whole time period. So it is just a lot of speculation and a lot of optimism. So Lucid did put out a couple of videos, so I think people are expecting the Gravity to come out and to be launched sometime in September. So it's going to be coming right around the corner. So we'll just have to wait and see. And when I talk on, I guess, released, what I really mean is just reservations to open up. So I don't think the actual production and deliveries will start occurring until like probably November, in my opinion. So just to keep that in mind. With a lot of the data points that's coming out this week, anticipate shorts to be relatively active. So on Friday, shorts did return 369,000 shares. Going into this week, though, 27.8% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 249.49 million shares. So shorts are rather overextended, and you can kind of tell that based on this as well. So only 350,000 shares is available to be shorted. It did have a low of roughly like 150,000. So yeah, definitely they are running out of supply. And last time that this kind of scenario did happen, Lucid, I think, had like a 15% pop just in one day alone. So it's getting very, very interesting. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm going to go through a lot of the data points, but I think Lucid putting out news right now would be absolutely key. You have seen a good amount of buying that's been happening on the secondary market though over this last several trading days, and majority of which are buys. So just on Friday you saw some big ones, so 3.97 million and then 1.22 million. So a lot of good buying is happening despite the lack of news. So I think just the data points and just the rate cuts and maybe just Lucid's potential upcoming catalyst on the Gravity is all just stimulating a lot of speculation. But I don't think any Lucid investors are really complaining about that. Going into this week though, so this is Faraday, I'll quickly pull up good old Lucid. So looking at the open interest with Lucid closing at $4.19. That does mean that the 11,000 at that 350 strike price and that the 15,000 at that 4 are going to be covered come Monday by market makers. So roughly around 2.6 million shares being purchased right out the gate. So that'll be a nice bump up immediately. And so that's should be a good thing. I've asked or been asked in the past on exactly how I know it'll happen during the market trading day versus pre-market. And the only reason is if someone wants to buy 2.6 million shares pre-market, like pre-market and after hours is kind of like the wild west, very low volume. So if someone wants to buy 2.something million shares, that's going to cause a significant spike up. Nobody wants that, right? So it's a little bit more advantageous just to do it as soon as the market does open. So that's kind of my experience, at least. Market makers will do whatever the hell they want. So something to keep in mind. For this upcoming week, though, you don't really see all that much in walls or kind of resistance levels brought on by options. So Lucid essentially is kind of free and clear to run up. So right now, though, with it closing at $4.20, it is trading between this R1 and this R2. So $4.14, definitely watch for that to continue to hold. Flip side, $4.54 will be that next strong resistance / target. Beginning part of the week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be more technical driven. So Lucid could easily continue this nice momentum and really push higher. Just once again, just watch for this R1 to continue to hold. And so like I kind of mentioned at the very beginning, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be more technical driven. That's kind of a good thing, also a bad thing. So in Lucid's case, as you can kind of see, it is outside the Bollinger Band. Typically, that does not happen unless there is some justified news to really keep it there. And in Lucid's case, looking back historically, every time this does happen, the following week, there is more consolidation. So you can kind of see that happen right here, happen right here, happen right here, happen right here, even just kind of extending that here. Pretty much every single time Lucid has ever gone outside the Bollinger Band, there is kind of a week-long retracement and more of a consolidation. So this is why, going back over here, just pay attention to a lot of the strong support and resistance points. Lucid has ran up quite a lot, so these levels are very wide. So just once again, anticipate that. And even more key is just to watch for Lucid to stay above that 50-day moving average. So I don't anticipate it touched this week or being touched this week. So I feel like there will be some consolidation, but bigger picture, I think there's a lot of optimism at the same time. Lucid's doing a lot. Maybe there might be a partnership coming out. Big money generally knows ahead of Wall Street and retail investors. So maybe this is why there has been a abnormal amount of buying that's been happening on the secondary market, and also the dark pool. So dark pool has been absolutely on fire over this last several trading days. My apologies. I know I'm going relatively fast, but I'm just kind of trying to paint a picture for you guys, just the fact that big money was buying the hell out of Lucid. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on Lucid. So I think overall Lucid is going to be fairly positive, but there will be some consolidation and a lot of volatility. It will ultimately come down to Thursday and Friday, what the data points do truly say on those days. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? Based on this, it does show a hell of a lot of people have been buying Lucid, retail investors. So if you are part of that group, give yourself a shout out in the comments below. One final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. Has been extended up until the end of August. Simply sign up for a new account. Throw $100 at it, they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So this is a kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.